Well, that is some view, and this is some terrace. We've got our winner of the Scotts Garden Rejuvenation here. We've got Carrie, and this is a beautiful terrace. Do you typically entertain a lot on this terrace?
No, I do not.
But your friends want you to.
They would, but I've never known what to do. I'm not much of a gardener. I've never been a gardener. And it's kind of overwhelming, and I don't want to screw it up, so I just don't do anything.
Well, we're going to try to help with that here, right? So let's talk a little bit, Gary, of course, from Phoenix Perennials. What are the kinds of things that you had to talk to Carrie about to make sure that she's going to be happy with the rejuvenation?
Well, I mean, the first thing when I came out on this deck is it's huge. It's exposed. There's so much space here. So we really need to fill that space with some bold elements. But of course, it's about finding out what she loves. So we found out she loves blue, so we're going to use blue pots. We found out she likes lilacs and azaleas, so we're going to use some of those. We found out she likes edibles, but only certain kinds of edibles, so we're going to use those kinds of things in the garden and really create a space that she's going to love, and we're going to turn her into a gardener whether she likes it or not.
This sounds like a good idea, right?
Yes.
Where do we start, Gary?
Well, you always have to start with the basics, so never, always get a great soil. So we're going to use this Moisture Control Miracle Grow potting mix because it's a really high quality soil. It's going to keep the roots happy, and then fertilizing is always the most important thing. I mean, there's only 3 things in plants: fertilizer, good soil, light, and water. 4 things, right? So we're also going to use some great slow release fertilizer, which is going to keep these plants happy, healthy, and gorgeous for Carrie for the long term.
To offer a little thrill?
Oh yeah, and of course
Spill?
the pots are all going to have their thrill, their fill, and we're going to have some gold spills going down the edge. That's the mantra in all of these pots.
Thrill, fill, and spill. You got that, Carrie?
Yeah, it looks fabulous already.
Fantastic. Well, this is just a small piece to a very big garden rejuvenation, courtesy of Scotts. We're going to work on this throughout the morning. We got to get to work. Let's get to work. Well, there's the lone existing planter on the terrace of the winner of our Scotts Garden Rejuvenation. And Gary, you know what? It was important that we kept that here, isn't it?
Well, it used to be forlorn and lonely, and now it's shabby chic. It kind of represents where she was, and now we can see where she came from.
And this is, again, we're sort of in the middle of our garden rejuvenation, and we're working on the edible portion, because this was important to Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie loves edibles, and you know what? This is what's going to help turn her into a gardener, is coming out here and harvesting her own edibles and being successful with that.
And tomatoes, perfect for this space, right?
This is from sun up to sundown. So we've got beefsteak tomatoes in here because they are going to do famously. And we've got some nice blue cages for the tomatoes because Carrie loves blue.
She loves the blue, and apparently she loves working in the garden because you've already turned her into a bit of a green thumb. Carrie, what are you doing right now?
Well, Gary has put me to work. He said to just empty these pots out and massage the roots a little bit before you put them in the ground, because that will signal them to start growing.
Fantastic. And this is basil, and this was also important, right?
Yes,
She loves...
I love basil because it makes great pesto sauce.
I know where we're coming for dinner, Gary.
Exactly.
But it's not just one variety here, right?
No.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different basils.
And what else, Gary? There's sweet.
There's sweet basil, Genovese basil, lemon basil, cinnamon basil, and we've even got some burgundy amethyst basil.
You better get to work.
All kinds of different flavors.
Because I'm coming over for pasta.
Yeah.
She's also got some other things as help.
So we've got
here.
some cool strawberries. So they're white strawberries called the Aloha berry, and we've got some other ones with pretty pink flowers. We've also got the newest brazzleberry. It's called Perpetua, which fruits twice in a season, in early summer and then late summer. And then we've got some pixie grapes. So we've got Cabernet Franc and Pinot Meunier, which are 2-foot versions of some of the famous wine grapes.
I was just going to say, are we yielding enough grapes here for wine?
Well, we'll be able to adorn our cheese plates and have some little snacks.
Fantastic. Let's talk fertilizer, because what you use for the edibles is different, right?
Exactly. So this one is shake and feed, and it's tomato, fruit, and vegetable for Miracle Grow. It's also got micronutrients, and edible plants, because they're producing so much, say, foliage and so many fruits, they need different things, different formulations of fertilizer than what you would use for flowers.
Fantastic. So much great information, and we got to get you to work here. We're going to have the big reveal coming up later, so you're helping now, but then we're putting you away, so it's all a big surprise. That's all coming up. The time has come for Scotts Garden Rejuvenation. We've got Gary from Phoenix Perennials, who has done a fantastic job along with his team. And we've got Carrie standing by. Carrie, are you almost ready to take a look?
I am.
Okay, so open your eyes. Take a look at your brand new terrace.
Wow.
What do you think? Let's show people at home what it looks like. Do you love it?
I love it. Oh, look at all the flowers, the greenery, and I know it's going to just get bigger.
It sure is, and you know what?
Wow.
Let's remind people what it looked like before. We have a shot of the before, and we even have a little bit of footage right now, sort of, Gary, indicating a bit of the work that we've gone into, a bit of a time lapse, as it were. A lot of work did go into it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of work, especially to get things into place, but, you know, a little bit of work at the beginning, and then it's just tweaking after that. But you can see we had to put in some really big, bold pots to, you know, kind of go big or go home, because little things are not going to fill this space. So with lots of big statements in pots and in the plantings.
And you've done a great job, because you've sort of done the border of the terrace here, which sort of gives a little bit of privacy and warmth as well. Doesn't it feel warm?
Oh, it's fabulous. I just love it. Thank you so much.
We needed to kind of fill up the space, and, you know, because it's a huge space if you see the before pictures, and so we needed to kind of fill it in and, you know, put stuff all over the place, put pots strategically to make the space more intimate.
Let's talk about how we're going to care for some of these plants, because there is a bit of maintenance that's required.
Exactly. There's low maintenance, but that doesn't mean no maintenance. So a fertilizer like this, Shake and Feed, you apply once in the spring and it lasts for 4 months. This is the smart person's fertilizer. So you can measure it, or you can just, you know, shake and feed.
Just
you put
like
that
that.
on, you mix it into the soil in the appropriate amounts, and it feeds your plants for the entire season.
And then we've got the edibles in the background, which I know you love your edibles. A very different one that you use for that as well.
Yeah, different plants need different amounts of fertilizer, so you need to use the right ones for the right purpose.
Oh, it's beautiful, and I'm so glad, Carrie, that you love it. Do you want to say anything to Gary?
Well, I'd like to thank Gary from Phoenix Perennials, and also Scotts Garden Rejuvenation and Breakfast Television. I mean, this is fantastic. This is life-changing for me. Thank you.
I want to come to her party. Thank you so much, Gary. Seriously, I'm gonna be ready to party. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks,
Thank
Gary.
you.